Training Partners.
Gang, welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I am Wheezy Shoemaker, and I am, of course, joined by Justin McClintock. And today, my understanding is that he'll be bringing you a strong take on coaches versus doctors. Is that right, Justin?
That's my thesis coming into this that I thought we would talk about.
I love it.
We are coaches and we know doctors. I've been thinking a lot, I think a lot about this as someone who's married to a physician, a lot about so much of the fitness industry dismisses and denigrates the medical industry. The medical industry doesn't really spend a lot of time dismissing or denigrating the fitness industry, but they don't take it particularly seriously.
Right.
It's that would be punching down generally, so they don't bother because we're not really on their radar. And fitness people spend a lot of time trying to, I think, pull people away from the medical industry and say, no, 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 they're wrong. Look at me. And I think I have at this point kind of a strongly held belief that that is an easy way to kind of sowing distrust there. Makes it easy to sow distrust of the entire system. And that I think is part of like the fitness to alt-right pipeline, which has been a thing for a very long time, and why there's such a segment of the fitness industry that you're like, why are there so many people here I don't like? Because part of this, like not trusting anything and what you've been told is wrong and the food pyramid is garbage, and which is partly true, but it's easy to take that and say, well, everything is wrong and they're lying to you and stealing your money and they want to keep you sick and so on and so on and so forth. And there's
big pharma
truth in it. Yeah, exactly. There's kernels of truth in a lot of it, and there's a lot of nonsense out there. So that's where this sort of sprung from. Does that resonate with you at all?
That resonates tremendously. Before we get into it, I have a very important question for you.
Oh boy, I'm ready.
I need to know if you have a summer hyperfixation meal and what it is.
Oh, I don't think I do.
Really?
I don't know. Like, that brings up nothing for me.
Nothing.
No.
Incredible.
I'm trying to think. So partly, like, I'm not really a dessert sweets guy. So, like, going for, like, the ice cream by the water and that kind of thing, I'll do it because people like it and to be nice. But I never crave it. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not interested. I'm with my partner loves that. There is an amazing ice cream shop. I say that because down by the river, there's this cool ice cream shop that operates out of a shipping container, and they only do cereal ice cream. So there's like 4 flavors, and it's like Fruit Loops and Captain Crunch and Honey Smacks and mystery flavor, and it's incredibly delicious, really premium stuff. And we'll go once in a while, and she loves it. And sometimes I'll have some, and sometimes I won't. But I never crave that kind of stuff. Is that kind of what you were thinking for summer? Or is there something else?
Well, so I'm thinking about this, and also it's worth saying, like, highly neurodivergent and specific to can get really fixated on particular things, whether it's food or routines or etc. But I like quiver for nectarine season, like stone fruit season. My absolute favorite meal this time of year that I could probably eat it happily every single day is like just a bitchin' stone fruit salad. Like, we're talking sliced nectarines, fresh tomatoes, even better if they're from my garden, basil, maybe a little bit of mint, maybe some watermelon, and then a feta or a burrata. Like, just, and I've been thinking about it nonstop all week long because Walter, my oldest, also really likes nectarines, and he has eaten all of the nectarines. So I have been like really mentally spinning on when can I get more nectarines? When can I break away to acquire nectarines?
I was just going to ask where you get your nectarines.
Nowhere fancy. Meyer, which is one of the regional stores here, or Costco. But they're usually only available like end of April until maybe beginning of October at like the absolute latest.
Like the actual season for them.
Right. Yeah.
We have a
So
bowl of very delicious strawberries from the local farmer's market in the fridge right now. And I am restraining myself from plowing through all of them because, well, one, because I want to have more for tomorrow, and two, because I wasn't even the person who sourced and bought them. So it'd be rather ungallant for me to just eat a pound and a half of strawberries. But I don't really, I don't think about that stuff. I'm not like, oh, it's so and so season. I can finally eat this. And I don't really know why.
Hmm. Well, maybe you'll start to think about it now. Maybe I've opened that door.
Possibly. Yeah. No, there's nothing really in the summer. I think of summer more as I get excited to like sit outside and eat in the
Mm.
open air. I enjoy that kind of atmospheric opportunity more than in particular what the food is. I tend to be relatively simple there.
Sure, that makes sense. Do you have mosquitoes where you are?
It hasn't been bad so far. This is my first summer in Rhode Island, and there is a lot of water around. So I sort of expect there will be a lot of mosquitoes. There's a ton of lanternflies, I can tell you that. That is a battle I am hip deep in lanternfly nymphs and trying all the different ways to rid myself of
Nymphs?
them. Yes. So before they become fully grown, they are nymphs, and they look
Do they
different. They're little black and white spotted jerks. But
do
there's,
they crawl?
yes.
This is a foreign concept to me. Please
Oh,
explain the life cycle of a lanternfly.
so lanternflies are a highly invasive species. The East Coast especially has had a problem with them for several years, to the point where most of the cities I've lived in, the the public works department puts out a thing about if you see a lanternfly, kill it immediately. Kill kill all the lanternflies. Anything you can do to kill lanternflies is great. They're super invasive. They destroy things. They're no good. Lanternflies are super bad news. Um, they start off as little egg sacs. Lanternflies come in. You can kill the egg sacs, so they're not the easiest to find. They get born. There's a bunch of them, and they're nymphs, and these little like black with white spots, and they crawl over everything and eat all of the good plants and ruin things. And then they become full bore lanternflies, which you can Google lanternfly, but they have like kind of gray brownish wings and a red body. And then they have the gift of flight as well. The nymphs don't seem to fly as well. I don't know if they have fully formed wings or what the deal is.
Hmm.
But lanternflies also destroy everything and get everywhere. And I have do you know what a pergola is?
Yes.
I have a pergola in my backyard, and there's a wisteria that kind of covers the whole pergola and grows all over it.
Oh,
And it's very
wonderful.
nice, covered in lanternfly nymphs right now. And I've
Uh,
killed many, 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 and am using gradually more intense poisons on them. And they seem to be like taking a shot and be like, delicious, more. It doesn't seem to be touching them. So and it's having it be overhead makes it particularly difficult. If it was down on the ground, I could kind of like brush them out and squish them. And it's a little trickier having them overhead, I found.
I wonder if you could shop vac them up.
Uh, Apparently, there's such thing as a bug vacuum. And I was like, I'm not going to buy special. I own vacuums. I'm not going to buy special vacuums. But that is one of the options. I own a shop vac, and there's electricity in the backyard, and I have absolutely thought about that. I would like to not destroy all the plants, obviously. I
Right.
also would like to not destroy all of the good species of bugs.
Right.
The thing that has prevented me from just like nuking the whole place with some horrific pesticide is I'm not trying to destroy the ecosystem. I
Right.
just want these bugs gone, but
Right.
they're taking over, and I may have to. There's going to be some collateral damage.
Well,
So coaches versus doctors.
yes.
This sort of started with the idea of why is the fitness industry, or so much of the fitness industry, so against medicine, and why don't doctors trust trainers? And I did some research for this, and I would like this to be an ongoing discussion. We can jump off and take as many tangents as we want, because I
Yep.
kept finding stories and elements that I thought could be their own whole episode. More interestingly, about look at the crazy things fitness coaches and trainers have done way outside of their scope. Less of doctors not adequately recommending strength, exercise, fitness, etc., which I think is part of like fitness people's hang up with kind of like the general medical establishment.
Yes.
The fitness
Continue.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So the fitness industry spends a lot of time trashing the medical establishment to varying degrees. And this can swing from criticizing how little time physicians spend with patients, being tied to the insurance industry, perceived over-reliance on medication and surgery, certainly accusations of being in bed with big pharma, the perceived ignorance of holistic care models, any number of other failings. And some of these accusations have real merit. There's truth there, and sometimes not. I think this can lead to fitness pros dismissing all of established medicine kind of in one fell swoop, and even falling into the soft, warm embrace of supplement scams and woo-woo fixes, and maybe the absolute worst option, becoming the coach who knows everything.
Right. Becoming the coach who can help you biohack your way out of cancer.
Yeah. And no matter what it is, they have the answer for it. They can definitely deal with it. They have a test or an assessment or a super secret squirrel program that is actually what you need. Where did this come from? I think that's potentially useful. Insurance and time constraints that limit thorough evaluations in medical settings, I think, is a big deal. The not having enough time to have deep conversations, not enough holistic exploration. I know there certainly are boutique services and cash-only services that can do this kind of thing. I personally know people who that's the way they operate, and that's the reason they operate, but that's not who most people are running into, and it's not how most medical professionals work either. That is not the prevalent business model, and there's reasons for that back and forth also. I know very talented medical professionals who deliberately work within insurance because they want to also be able to work with Medicare and Medicaid patients. They think that's part of kind of serving the community and doing good work. That means part of that is being tied to this insurance model and the productivity model on a regular basis. Another thing that gets leveled a lot is the lack of kind of sports medicine training in general medicine practice. Like, they're not movement specialists. They spend 2 hours on exercise in medical school, combined with some crazy recommendations we hear from people. I've certainly had clients who were told, don't lift more than 5 pounds, or you shouldn't exercise, or other things that kind of don't make sense. Like, where does that come from? What the heck?
And why? And how can I apply this into my actual real life? Like, let's say my newborn is more than my weight threshold. What do I do with that?
Yeah, exactly. And those are ridiculous examples. And I think makes it easy to trust things less. There's also sometimes, and I've had this, doctors who dismiss active people's concerns or don't take athletic injuries seriously. And I found this I put this in like the they'll live category, and which possibly goes off into another bigger discussion. But if you say, hey, doc, like, I was training and I'm used to be able to lift 225 pounds overhead, and now I can't do anything over 175. Your doc is going to be like, that's amazing that you can lift 175 over your head. You don't have a problem. What are you doing in my office? And it's and they're not wrong, but it's also a valid concern. And there's, of course, the sort of over-reliance on rest / take it easy, combined with the predictable cycle of medication, surgery, rest, repeat.
Right. Whether it's NSAIDs or cortisone or PRP or whatever it is, like some passive treatment that is maybe unintentionally, maybe not, marketed as a real solution, when in fact that's often not the truth.
Yeah. And it gets hazy for sure. And there's a million examples out there. I found one who was a woman who had really significant scoliosis, was in a full body brace for 5 years, 2 different kinds of braces, but was braced for 5 years, had spinal fusion, did some limited physical therapy, but had been told, we need to do these spinal fusions, you stay in a brace, movement is actually going to set you back. This is the way forward. Tons of discomfort, tons of pain.
Yeah.
Her parents happened to run into a different kind of PT at a Christmas party. The PT kind of walked them through, this is going to blow your mind, a combination of breath work, stretching, and strengthening tailored to an individual patient's needs. Does this sound familiar?
This does sound familiar. That shockingly is my entire business model. That's the whole secret. That's it.
And this person had been specifically told that PT would not help her condition, and she
Mm.
had to wear her brace and wait, and the results would come. They weren't coming. Physical therapy was incredibly successful. She's out of her brace. She's feeling great.
Wow. Color me shocked.
Yeah. So it seems reasonable, right? Like we're all laying out like, yes, the medical establishment goes wrong all the time. It is not necessarily built for success. It's not necessarily built for thriving. It's really built to keep
Right.
you alive, which is a
Right. It's a
whole,
sick care system
yeah.
meant to support people who are acutely in need of something, right? Like I can't breath work my way out of cancer or out of a hernia that needs repairing, but I probably can do some things about chronic disease.
And I think that sick care thing often gets thrown around as a pejorative, like, oh, they
Right.
do sick
Yeah.
care, they don't do health care. You're like, well, sure, like you mean that in a mean way.
Right.
That's actually the job.
Right. We need both, right? Like
Yes.
my children both had ear infections over the weekend and they required sick care. I didn't put an essential oil in their
I was
ears and
just
ask
gonna
them to
say
do breath
essential
work, right?
oils.
So, like both are necessary in their lane.
Yeah, yeah, completely. And it's different kinds of expertise.
Right.
And
Right.
where I'm hoping we end up is that collaboration is really important, and everyone should actually
Yeah.
be talking to each other. But
Yeah.
where does the things we're talking about, where the medical establishment goes wrong, and where we as fitness professionals can see this, there's a bunch of ways this can go sideways. And this can look like social media influencers diagnosing hormonal conditions that they have no expertise
Ew.
in, no medical training. I've lately I've seen so many like gray market solutions, like how to buy peptides and things like that. I was like, wait a minute, I'm like,
Mm.
these are all I know these are all prescription. How is this person with the cute hair and the great fit able to hook me up with stuff that I need a prescription for? And it's like, oh, this is like gray market sketchy shipping stuff that someone's making money on, but really shouldn't be coming my way.
Mm.
I think also eating disorders that get masked as like clean eating or specific optimization
Right.
protocols.
Yeah, I happened upon one the other day where it was somebody who exclusively juiced, and her comments, it was just flooded because she's this beautiful, conventionally attractive, healthy, fit looking woman with tons of energy and a big smile. I'm like, come with me while I get ready to go to Coachella. And like, it's just then 90 seconds of juicing.
Oh my God. Yes. All the juicing. Yep. That's definitely all you eat. Yep. Yep.
Like,
I'm sure.
that's an eating disorder, friend.
Massive. It's a huge problem. And I think a thing that, but it gets masked as optimization or biohacking or
Right.
things like that. There's also serious injuries getting worse because of lack of treatment or fitness professionals suggesting they don't get treated. We just had our these are going to come out separately, but we had our mutual friend Ali Gerber on, who told a story about she was working a gym with a great trainer, overheard another trainer tell their client, "Oh, you don't need physical therapy. Go to one session, tell me what they do, and I'll take it from there." Without knowing nothing about what's going on with this person, there is no way that's appropriate.
Right.
Like, one, they're going to do their first assessment at physical therapy, tell you what happened, and you're going to take it from there. Based on what? And why would you not want to work with a physical therapist?
Particularly if in the context that Ali was talking about, it was pretty clear that this person had been referred, like, hey, my doctor is telling me I should do X.
Yeah. My doctor said I need PT, and the trainer said, "Oh, well, your doctors, they're just trying to, scare you or trap you or take your money. I'll do this." And you know what, bro?
Oh, you mean like you are?
Exactly. And it's this putting up this tiny little fence around this tiny
Right.
little kingdom that isn't complete and doesn't need to be there. And I think that the broader point is kind of we're actually all on the same team. And when we pretend we're not, or you pretend you know more than you do, and walk into dangerous places, terrible things happen.
Terrible things.
There was a case in, I think it was 99. Do you know, have you heard of Anne-Marie Capati? She was sort of, it's like the most famous supplement story.
I recognize the name, but nothing else is coming to mind. Fill me in.
So Anne-Marie Capati, 37-year-old fashion designer in New York, mother of two, had recently given birth to her second, despite having pretty high blood pressure and being on medication for it, wanted to lose some weight post-birth, went to a Crunch Fitness, signed up with, I think it was called a level 2 personal trainer nutritionist. And they were going to put together a whole program for her. So far, everything's cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
The personal trainer knew she had given birth, had high blood pressure, took meds for it, designed her a program, wrote her a nutrition protocol, and suggested 5 different supplements that she should be taking. And this person, and I think this is interesting, walked with her to Vitamin Shop to help her pick out the supplements. Now that's super hands-on in a way that's maybe a little weird. One thing that occurred to me when I was rereading this was, oh, he's not selling them to her. This isn't someone who suggested 5 supplements because he's definitely getting a commission. I guess he might get kickback from Vitamin Shop or something, but they didn't come off the shelves of Crunch Fitness. He was like, I'm going to take my time and walk you to the shop and make sure you get the right thing. This kind of sounds like a premium white glove service in a lot of ways.
I would agree.
She took the supplements he suggested for 3 months. During a workout, she collapsed, was taken to the hospital. She had had a stroke. She was dead 3 hours later. The supplements she took, whey fuel, yeah, whatever. A lean body shake, which I didn't remind myself what those were, but I think it's like a protein/meal replacement shake.
Sure.
EFAs, sure. Yohimbe, which is usually like kind of a caffeine stimulant thing, and something called Thermadrine. And you can't buy Thermadrine anymore.
Yeah.
Thermadrine contained ephedra, also known as, it has a bunch of names. Mua Hang or Mua Huang is one of them. It gets called Mormon tea, weirdly. But it has ephedra, and it has ephedrine in it. Ephedrine-related products are specifically off limits to people like Anne-Marie, who are taking high blood pressure meds, antihypertension drugs.
Right.
So she was definitely not a candidate for this. A few years after this, ephedrine got banned completely from supplements because this kept happening. The personal trainer, not Crunch Fitness, the personal trainer was sued and lost for something like $4 million because it was the supplements he recommended she take, and he gave her a schedule when she would take them. He prescribed what she should be taking and when she should be taking it.
Wildly out of scope.
Way outside of scope. It was immediately recognized as out of scope. And it's also, for coaches listening, you can be sued and held responsible if you prescribe dietary supplements to your clients and anything bad happens.
Right.
And I don't think, from rereading what I could find about this case, it sounded like this guy was trying to do a really good job and help someone out. Like, all the supplements are a little crazy. I don't recommend things like that. I certainly never recommend like fat burners or that kind of stuff.
Right.
But this, a big money fashion designer came, and these were the results she wanted. And he said, this is going to help you in the right way. I'm even going to help you pick out the right stuff. I'm not trying to defend what he did, but it sounds like someone who was over his head and out of his scope and didn't realize it. I think it was ignorance.
I think there's also some really interesting commentary here on the general lack of education required to be in fitness, because most fitness educations that I've seen don't have any kind of like, hey, here's how to stay in your lane, particularly related to these scary comorbidities, right? Somebody has diabetes, somebody has high blood pressure, somebody has hypertension, right? What do I need to do? What do I need to be aware of? What do I need to be on the lookout for? Probably we shouldn't be prescribing 10 times out of 10, right? Yep. Beyond saying, hey, more protein might be a good idea, or I personally use a creatine that might be something for you to consider, right? That aside, fitness in general does such a poor job of setting people up to be successful with the very people who need fitness the most.
Exactly right. It is a general failing of expertise. And I do think that little like tiny kingdom model, which can happen all the time, especially with newer trainers or people newly opening their own business, where they need the clients and they need the people. There's a huge temptation to do almost anything to hang on to them and make sure that you are the real solution, not that you need to refer out, because saying I don't know, or I can ask someone, or actually you should see a medical professional about that, feels like you're failing them or not enough.
Well, it's such a scarcity mindset thing, and I think that can be true of medical professionals and of fitness professionals, is that we want to be able to solve everything for everyone all the time, rather than focusing in on, okay, what is the unique problem I am uniquely equipped to support, and honing in on that, and being afraid of losing the wrong business, when in fact it would be tremendously to your benefit to lose the wrong business.
Completely. I have certainly found that one of the biggest credibility builders for me is when I say, oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to go ask some smart people and see if I can figure something out.
Yeah.
And then I call people like yourself and other people we know and say, hey, this just happened. Do you know anything about this, or someone I should ask? And it might be, I call a physical therapist, or I call a doctor, or I call an orthopedist, or I send an email, or I, try and poke around and hopefully come back with something like an answer. But I'll always raise my hand and say, so this isn't medical advice, because I don't know what I'm talking about. It sounds like we're in this area, but I can try and find some things out. You might have to go see somebody. And that's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's extremely reasonable. A chef doesn't pretend to be an expert on fixing the oven. That's okay. You're not supposed to know how to fix the oven. Why would you? You're over here doing other stuff. So I wrote a quick 4 or 5 kind of what I think are red flags to watch for in trainers. And then I thought we would talk about some red flags to maybe watch for in medical professionals.
I love it.
So trainers diagnosing or prescribing anything. So diagnosing specific medical conditions, and or especially if they're prescribing fill in the blank, usually supplements for medical conditions.
Yes.
Say, hey, my so-and-so hurts. Oh, you probably have a herniated disc and you should take these kind of anti-inflammatories to help it. You have no way of knowing that. What you just said isn't going to help it. Even if that was true, you're way out of your depth. So if you hear people doing that, back away slowly. Coaches actively discouraging clients from seeking medical consultation, I think, is a
red flag.
Problem.
Red flag.
Huge problem. They don't, they also probably shouldn't force it. I have had clients where I've said, hey, until you get cleared by someone, we can't work together anymore because something so big has happened that, you just had a seizure. You had failed to tell me you have a seizure condition until your doctor clears you for exercise, and they and I at least exchange an email. We're not doing a damn thing because this was a surprise and I need more information. Trainers claiming that their methods, modalities, whatever, can cure diseases and or replace medical treatments.
False.
It's a completely different thing.
You need both.
And well, that's the last one I had was coaches who refuse to work with or communicate with healthcare providers.
Yeah. Are you afraid of them learning your big proprietary secrets?
It's so crazy. And when I know you do this too, I communicate with medical professionals all the time now, and they are so happy to hear from me and bring me in. I just had this morning, I got a long email from a physical therapist. I have a client who had a ACL reconstruction, has had a number of knee problems in the past, and we're coordinating on what we're giving her because this client is gung-ho, super active. If you give her an inch, she will take several miles, which is correct. And the physical therapist was like, I don't know if you've noticed this about this person. If they get cleared for any activity, they do crazy stuff. I told them they were allowed to bend their knee and have a little exertion, and they went for a 20-mile bike ride. And they were like, my knee blew up. I was like, yeah, 100%. Yeah. We need to put limits. But now we're all on the same team, and we're all sitting at the same table, and we're all talking about methods. This physical therapist was only respectful, didn't poo-poo anything I suggested, basically said, that sounds like a great plan. Watch out for this. Don't do this. I would maybe add in some of this. However, and finish with, you're the movement expert. These are the kind of things I'm after. By the way, please don't do these things. This is what I'm going to work on in our sessions. And I have some really specific things I'm doing on. So don't do your leg extensions. I'm doing BFR tempo leg extensions and I'm measuring the angle. I need that in my camp right now.
Right. That's brilliant. I love that. I've had similar conversations with PTs, particularly cash-based PTs.
Mm-hmm.
What I've run into a couple of times is that there is maybe a PT in an insurance environment who is very happy that I'm there and also not allowed to give me a ton of time or information.
Yeah. 100%.
And that's been really hard. But by and large, I would agree. They're happy to collaborate with people who are fitness professionals. And I do mean professional in the true sense of the word.
It is. I mean, your mileage will vary with PTs, and sometimes they find it hard. And some PTs also are very skeptical of trainers and will, don't want to give, us information because they have no reason to believe us. No, that's what so the two things I always do is I ask the client to, one, ask for permission for me to reach out, and two, ask their preferred method. And I'll say, I will email, I will call, I will show up. We can do a video thing. Like, you tell me the thing, however they prefer to be communicated with, I'll do that. So now I've asked for permission and I've had them say either absolutely not, which usually they don't do because that'd be super weird, or yes. So now they've told me it's okay and told me the way to do it. That helps a bit and lets me come with the introduction of, hey, you're the expert, you're the physical therapist. However, I get 4 to 5 touch points a week with this person.
Right.
You see them every 2 weeks. So I want to progress the kind of things you're working on in my environment. Here's what we've done before. Here's my assessments. What do you think? And let them be the expert. Don't talk down to them, but a little bit of credibility, trust building, and then hand it to them and say, tear it apart, break it, how easy, in the shortest, most succinct way you can. I've also found busy medical professionals more than 5 sentences is probably not going to go anywhere.
Right. It's got to be precise.
100%. I thought it was only fair to also put some red flags for medical professionals. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of it comes down to kind of communication issues. So if they're dismissing patient concerns, if you're not believed, if you get told you're overreacting, if you get told your chronic pain isn't real, this is a huge problem.
Yeah, your chronic pain, it starts in your brain. All right. Well, my physician search is going to also start in my brain. Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. You're just not a fit for whatever reason. I know it's not always easy to get another appointment, but you should get another appointment with somebody. Yeah. Also, just like with trainers, closed-mindedness to working with other professionals. Yeah. If they're not happy to open the door, if they're not happy to do referrals, if they're not happy to work with, your personal trainer and your therapist and your whomever, they're probably not open enough for the kind of work you need.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Poor bedside manner. This is a really big deal. If you don't get along with your doctor, if you feel like they're mean, if you feel like they're not nice to you, there's been at this point tons of studies showing that you will actually have worse outcomes if you dislike your doctor.
I believe that.
And doctors know this too, by the way. Young doctors are now trained to not be jerks because there's a segment of young doctors. I know a lot about this. The greatest indicator that you're going to be a doctor is that your parents were a doctor.
Okay.
It is a super generational thing. That is the number one indicator for someone becoming a doctor, is that their parents were a doctor. So a lot of these people have kind of known or were told that you're going to be a doctor from a very young age. Being a doctor requires being really good at school. A lot of these people have been hyper-focused and are really good at school, and they're not very good at people. Right. Not all of them. I know lots of great doctors, but there's a bunch of doctors who are not very good at people. They're good at numbers, they're good at labs, they're good at school, They understand. They might be amazing surgeons, especially some of you surgeons. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But they aren't great with people, and they are now being trained to be better with people and be able to like make eye contact and ask questions and listen, because it literally leads to better outcomes.
I have such a tangent on this that we can go down if you like.
Yeah, bring it.
So almost a full year ago now, which is kind of wild to think back, Ted, who is my husband, ruptured his Achilles playing basketball. He was a client at the time, and Coach Weeze and Wife Weeze were at odds with each other when my wonderful, remarkable husband of a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old came to me and said, "Hey, I'd really like to play pickup basketball for Father's Day," knowing full well he has not done anything like that in a number of years, but I want to be a supportive partner. And so put on my best, like, okay, great.
Oh, sure.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do
sure.
that. Okay.
Can you make sure that you get there early enough to warm up and get acclimated with your team? And yeah, it didn't happen. He got access to the court a minute and a half before they started playing. He'd never played with these people, and the team that they were playing against was in their 20s. And so about 8 minutes into the game, he called me and said, "Hey, I think I have to go to the ER." I was like, "What? You have to what?" Well, I felt something snap when I came down from a layup, and there was nobody nearby me. Like, it felt like I got hit by a baseball bat. The unfortunate part of this is that we were going to be at the beach for 8 days, a day later almost.
That's right.
And so we saw a PT very quickly before we went out of town. She kind of gave us like I don't know. We went anyway. And it became really clear over the week at the beach, this is a real problem. Your swelling is getting worse. You're not getting any more range of motion. This is deteriorating. And so remotely was able to connect with an ortho who is associated to a pretty big conglomerate here at Ohio State. Pulled some of the strings that I have to be able to get him on the phone with him from afar.
Yep.
And this doctor really pressured him on the phone. It's like, "No, you need to have surgery immediately. Like, come home and you need to have surgery." He hasn't even seen him. He has no idea. There's been no assessment of any kind.
You didn't do one of those telehealth x-rays?
No.
Or MRIs?
Right. And so the part of this that was a real wrinkle is that we had a trip to Amsterdam right around the corner that had been planned for a year and a half to see Taylor Swift. Right. I bought these tickets.
There are movable objects in the world.
Right.
And Weezy having tickets to Taylor Swift is one of them.
Is one of them, because I'd already had to sell the original set of tickets I have because of complications related to my pregnancy with the child who was then a year old at this time.
Yeah.
So rush home, end up seeing a different doctor and communicating, "Hey, we'd really like to pursue a non-surgical option here." Had consulted with some other folks about what is this going to mean for healing? What do we need to be aware of? Healing timeline is roughly the same either way. It's about a year either way. But the approach is different because once the tendon is repaired surgically, we can start to load it right away. Whereas if there's a non-surgical, we need to put him in a non-weight bearing position where the length of the separation is as shortened as possible. So he's got a boot with some elevation and he can't weight bear or drive for 3 months.
Right.
Fine. But the timeline is about a year either way, right? So this other doctor that we saw was very hospitable to that, said, "We definitely want to pump you through with some anti-clotting agents so that you don't clot on the 8-hour flight to Amsterdam. We definitely want to get you an apparatus that you're going to feel comfortable getting around the city in, but you should go. This is a big deal. Like, the healing is going to be a year either way. Choose this other way," right? Yeah. So then when we get back, he had a 3-week follow-up with the original doctor that we dealt with. Mm-hmm. And this doctor came in, didn't even look at Ted, touch Ted, nothing. Ted's sitting up on the table. He comes right to me. beelines and says, hey, Taylor Swift is really young. She's going to tour again, but you're going to have to deal with your husband's bum Achilles for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's the right face. We've got open mouth, wide-eyed, like up in he might as well have like grabbed me by the face. And then goes over to Ted, who's laying on his belly, and does a palpation of both calves. And wouldn't you know it, we got the little ding ding reconnected reflex. And he goes, oh, that's actually healing quite nicely. I was like, you fucking asshole. So
you did this in the wrong order, Doc.
Right. You did this in the wrong order. Your bedside is so poor, and I have no doubt that he is an exceptional surgeon, but my God.
You don't trust him?
No, not at all. Not at all. And to follow up now, a year later, Ted has healed remarkably. He worked with a PT for about 6 months, and then he worked with a fitness professional who escorted him across the finish line. And now we play pickleball 90 minutes, 2, sometimes 3 times a week, right? Like, truly remarkable and remarkably bad bedside. I will never forget that guy.
Yeah, in the worst way, right? And it's so like trusting your gut on those things is often the right way to go. Occasionally I will run into someone who's like, every single doctor and every single medical professional, every single fitness trainer is always terrible. That sets my alarms off a little bit. Like, if the whole world is crazy, what's going on? But if you're being talked to and dealt with in a way that feels wrong and is setting your alarms off, honor those alarms, because at the end of it, and that's kind of part of what this whole like thesis is going for, is we have to empower people to take ownership of their health. And that doesn't mean dismissing the medical establishment and their suggestions and public health and all of that. Most of that is very good. It also doesn't mean dismissing individual pursuits and fitness, or I love the N of one, be your own scientist approach with a bunch of caveats in there. Don't do anything illegal. Don't let yourself get taken advantage of. Generally don't do things that are irreversible. But in this idea of, actually, combining heavy strength work and cardio works really well for me. That's a lot of the research says that actually doesn't work great for most people. When you dig into it, you're talking like, it's 10% worse in these cases with these aims, but it works great for this person.
Right.
Great. Like, take ownership, and some of that means doing the work to learn when you should see a trainer, when you should see a coach, the kind of people you should ask. I'm a huge fan of building a network of people that you can reach out to and ask questions of. And you might need to pay for their time, and that's also totally okay. But getting all of that information, letting the experts be experts, and then developing strategies for advocating for yourself with both medical professionals, fitness, wellness people, all of these folks, so that you can really take ownership. And that also helps people kind of start understanding it. It lets it be part of the problem, is that medicine is still kind of magical. Fitness and wellness is still, and nutrition, we've talked about this, is still kind of magical.
Yeah.
Trusting your instincts about your body while seeking appropriate professional guidance, these can live in the exact same lane. Right.
I think you'll agree with this as well, that
doesn't sound like me.
some of the most profound client transformations in the least before and after picture kind of way that I've been fortunate to witness have happened when people have taken radical ownership of their own journey. And part of a good coach's job is to nudge them down that line, right? I've had people ask me specifically like, hey, can you just make sure that you're jotting down what weights I should be using for things? It's like, I know, and we need to have a conversation about why, because I have no idea when you roll up to that session how you're going to feel, where your stress is at, where your sleep is, how your body is feeling in that day. If we're experiencing irritation, I can give you lots of really good tools to self audit and to understand how this should feel and how to check in with yourself. I can even write you a checklist if you want it to be that upfront, but I cannot do it for you.
And that is the kind of thing I think you should look for when you're looking for a good trainer and coach. Someone who understands their scope of practice, is happy and willing to treat you holistically, and also excited to maintain a good referral network and proud to refer people out when it's appropriate. When like the idea of collaboration is the key to kind of moving this industry forward in a very real way. When I describe to people that I am just one part of their healthcare team, they start getting really excited. I'm unlikely to tell you to not do anything any other expert professional tells you to do. I might question it. I've absolutely like reached out to nutritionists and reached out to chiropractors and reached out to people like, hey, I don't understand. You told my client A, B, and C, and all of my assessments show D, E, and F. So we're on the same team. We both want this person to feel their best. Explain it to me, because I'm out of my depth, I'm out of my scope, as opposed to, well, that's just wrong. I don't know why they said that. We're doing something else.
Right. I don't know why they gave you that. That doesn't make any sense at all. Let's do this.
I might say that in my
instead.
brain. Like, this fucking moron. Why'd you tell her not to walk? She's got to walk. You can't tell her not to walk. That's not what the email says. Because I actually want everyone on the same team. And that also keeps the client/patient feeling supported and will actually move them forward.
That was so cool. We said supported at the same time.
Jinx. So I think that's sort of my overarching thesis, is that the collaboration model is really the way forward. Yeah. If you find people on either side of the fence, I wish there wasn't a fence, or on anywhere along the continuum, if you like, who are opposed to that idea, who don't think they should be working with or taking advice or checking in with other experts in that like healthcare, run away. They are the wrong person. They may not mean to be taking advantage of people. They may well be trying to do the right thing. Like, I understand being frustrated with the medical establishment. I deeply understand being frustrated with the medical establishment. Yeah. I understand being frustrated by having other experts say things, or especially influencers putting, shoving stuff down people's throats that is misleading or untrue or incomplete, etc. It's still your job to work in this atmosphere and this reality.
Right. A sentence that I like to use a lot is that harm without malice is still harm. Yep. I can have the best of intentions and still cause harm, and I'm still liable for that.
And it's still your fault, and it's still your responsibility.
Right.
Anything to add on this?
No, I think this was a wonderful discussion, and I think it gives people some solid green flags and red flags when they're considering building out their care team. And acknowledging also, I think it would be egregious for us to not acknowledge that a lot of this costs money and it might not be possible for you right now. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you.
And if and when that happens, there are still other ways forward. Yeah. There are people you can reach out to and ask questions. And I've done this. Hey, I can't afford you right now, and I'm not asking you to work for free. Where would you go if you wanted to find out this information? And I won't let them work for free, but I will go there. Be like, oh, turns out there's actually like this form is pretty useful. A lot of the medical journals, you can just get into studies now. You can find like hospitals keep blogs now. You can read all of this stuff. Is it a little slower? Yeah. Does it take a lot more work? Yeah. But you can do a bunch of this, especially in that bent of advocating for yourself and taking ownership. That feels good. And they're smart. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said this out loud. I regularly go on Reddit and just answer questions.
Wow.
I'll just like, what do we want to talk about today? Knee pain. Look, people who ask questions about knee pain this week. If I read their thing and I have a good suggestion, I'm going to give them a good suggestion. And maybe they answer, maybe they don't. But I just think that's like a useful thing to do, and I enjoy doing it.
Look at you. You're like the Batman of Reddit.
Yeah, hear that, Reddit? I'm the Batman now. Someone probably has that title, but I've been Dark Knighted.
Should we do a segment?
Let's do it. What do you got?
Okay, so I have 10 very real article or op-ed headlines, and I have 10 that ChatGPT created. And 2 at a time, you're going to choose which is which.
Okay, so these are the headlines of an article or an op-ed.
Correct.
And they're either real or some shit ChatGPT made up.
That's right. They're either real or they are ChatGPT generated, and you have to choose.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Forget protein shakes. This cheap superfood builds muscle faster.
I think that's real.
Versus, I drank celery juice every day for a week, and here is what happened.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be really tricky for you.
I'm still going to say the first one's real.
Wrong. I drank celery juice every day for a week, and here's what happened is the real article.
God.
The ancient movement that fixes posture and torches calories. Versus 3 reasons you should stop worrying about lifting heavy.
Oh, God. I think I'm going to say the first one's real.
Wrong.
Oh, God.
3 reasons you should stop worrying about lifting heavy. That's 0 for 2. Treating cancer with coffee enemas and diet. Versus the one breakfast food trainers eat to stay shredded. Revealed.
Oh, I think the first one's real.
You're right. That's true. Treating cancer with coffee enemas and diet. Please don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
I bet the article goes on to be like, this didn't work at all. Remember that a lot of these headlines can be like, this amazing model lived on juice for 3 months. Oh, and then she died.
All right, here we go. Get fit and save the planet. The workout that leaves 0 carbon footprint. Versus, will pesticides kill us?
Oh, that's so... the first one's more specific. I feel like I'm falling into the trap of always going for the first one, but I am going to say the first one is real.
Wrong. Will pesticides kill us is the real one. That is 1 for 4.
They will not.
They will not. They will kill the lanternfly.
Maybe.
Allegedly.
Don't drink pesticide, by the way.
Don't drink pesticide, please. Stop doing cardio if you want to lose fat.
Okay.
Versus, can picking up trash get you ripped? The surprising truth.
So, I hate the world. I'm going to say the first one's real.
You are right. You are correct. That's 2 correct. 9 exercises you'd better avoid if you dream of having a feminine body.
Ugh. Okay.
Versus the rise of the muscle goddess. Why strong is the new feminine.
I think the second one's real.
False.
Oh, devastating.
Devastating. Devastating.
I'm interested in the second one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is in fact fake. Strong, apparently, is not the new feminine. Allegedly.
Agree to disagree.
She tried keto and hit. Now she's down 20 pounds and stronger than ever. Versus uncovering how low protein diets might reprogram metabolism.
What? It's all terrible. Okay. I'm sorry. I know I'm vacillating too much on all of these. I'll say the second one is real.
That is correct. Uncovering how low protein diets might reprogram metabolism is
I bet it will.
Article. I bet.
It will reprogram your metabolism. Not in the way you want.
I bet. That is 3. We have 3 more.
Okay. I could still get an F.
Bananas are... This sentence is ridiculous. Bananas are ruining your gains? The truth shocks nutritionists.
Awesome.
Versus tone your legs anywhere, anytime. Sweet Flex leggings, science-backed resistance tech helps you build muscle.
It sounds more like an ad than an article, but I'm still going to say the second one's real.
You're right. That is real. That was submitted to us by our friend Casey Bennett. Thank you,
Brilliant.
Casey.
Thank you, Casey.
Brilliant. 2 more. That is 4 correct, I believe.
I'm aware.
No epidural, no hospital, no fear. Her unassisted birth story is changing minds. Versus having a C-section is a cop-out.
Jesus. I don't like either of them, but...
Yeah. No, you're not meant to like them. These are meant to induce rage.
I think the first one's real.
False.
Bummer.
Having a C-section as a cop-out is the real thing.
Fuck off.
Right. Are you ready for the last one?
I'm not sure. I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Women who lift weights are now seen as attractive by men. Versus from flab to fab, the underground fitness method taking over TikTok.
It's I think the second one's real.
You're wrong. Women who lift weights now seen as attractive by men is the real article.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. This just in.
Unbelievable.
Water is wet. Incredible.
Yeah, yes, exactly. As someone who's found women attractive for a very long time, I'm aware of this, but okay. But I'm glad we're breaking the news to some people.
Right. So I think this was certainly unplanned, but a really lovely segment to close today with.
Yeah. Because
it goes to show you that there's just a lot of bullshit out there. And if you're looking for answers on the internet, I might encourage you to find somebody who has perhaps a slightly more refined way to get you the answers you're seeking.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And this is not like I'm not anti-AI for certain things, but it is not smart. It isn't intelligence. It is just, at this point, at time of recording, it's basically just pattern recognition, and is happy to spit out lots of things that are untrue, similar to quote-unquote experts who aren't actually good at what they do and haven't spent a lot of time trying to solve big problems or grow their network, and are just trying to make you happy. Right.
But if you're looking for the ancient movement that fixes posture and torches calories, you'll have to go to ChatGPT for that. That's not a real thing.
What's it gonna be? You should write at least one of those articles now and publish it. Like, let that be the inspiration for something.
Oh boy! Anything to close?
This has been great. I think it was an excellent discussion. I'm devastated by the articles people are writing, but I enjoyed it.
Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in to Training Partners. Again, I'm Wheezy Shoemaker. I have been joined by Justin McClintock. It's been a wonderful hour. Thank you for listening. If there are ever things that you want to hear from us in the future, please reach out. We are perpetually online and we'll reply to you promptly.
Absolutely true. Have a good one.
Thanks for hanging.
Here come your training partners, so smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training.